Well, good afternoon, guys, and today I have another species profile, this time on Rudbeckia occidentalis, commonly known as the western coneflower. This is a pretty common wildflower in the Rocky Mountain states of Utah, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana, as well as in Northern California through Oregon. It's found from about, in my experience, 7,000 feet in elevation up to the tree line. And yeah, I'll put a map up to show you its distribution, but that's about it. Now within its range, this is a very easy to identify plant because it has such a distinctive appearance with this big brown flower without any petals in this funny cone shape, hence the name coneflower. Or is it actually what we're seeing going on here? Because truthfully, this is not one flower we're looking at, it's many. This is a member of a sunflower family, Asteraceae, which is known for making these inflorescences, which is a group of multiple flowers that look like one big flower if they're so heavily modified and specialized. Each one of these little bumps on this flower, or again I should say inflorescence here, or perhaps more properly capitulum, because that is the specialized inflorescence of the family Asteraceae. Each one of these little bumps is one individual flower. It doesn't really have any petals, but is capable of being pollinated with one ovary that will develop into a one-seeded achene, or I guess technically a cypsella. The difference between the two doesn't really matter that much. But to really explain what I'm talking about more, I'm going to go over to this species really quick. This, I'm pretty sure, is Eucephalus engelmannii. And you see, it looks like one flower, but again, as a member of a sunflower family, it's actually multiple flowers arranged to look like one flower, but this one actually has petals this time. Or really, they're not petals, they're what's called ray florets. They are individual flowers that are modified to have basically one elongated petal that grow on the margins and help create the illusion of being one flower. Each of these there's multiple little flowers here, but I can't really zoom in on, unfortunately, but they help make up the sort of base, or right in the center of the flower. But this plant is no exception. It just doesn't have any ray florets. It evolved not to have them. It's not too uncommon in the sunflower family, but it is interesting when it does. What it does have, however, is these so-called phyllaries or bracts, basically just leaves that subtend basically bracts are just leaves that subtend a flower or inflorescence, and phyllory is a term used specifically with the sunflower family, Asteraceae. Now within the family Asteraceae, this species is a member of a subfamily Asteroideae, which doesn't say that much. It includes about 70% of all species within the family Asteraceae, and it's a member of the tribe Heliantheae, which is a little more interesting. It is the third largest tribe within the family, containing about 2,500 named species, and contains a lot of classes you can find around here, such as the genus Wildflower and the genus Balsamorrhiza, which I've talked about quite a lot. It includes Arnica, which you see commonly around here, and of course it includes Helianthus, which is what we commonly call the sunflower. It's the plant we cultivate to get sunflower seeds, in specific Helianthus annuus. And within that tribe, this is a member of a subtribe, Rudbeckia, which contains only one of our genus, which is Rudbeckia, or at least only one of our genus in North America. Now, Rudbeckia and Rudbeckia look very similar. They both have this really sort of weird cone-shaped capitulum, as opposed to the more flat capitulums of most other Asteraceae. But there's a few ways you can tell them apart. One feature that tends to separate them is that Rudbeckia tends to have phyllaries that are in whorls of different lengths. Like some phyllaries will be much smaller than others, depending on which whorl they're in, while in Rudbeckia, they are typically what's called subequal, so they're close to the same size, but not necessarily. Well, on this one, they certainly seem to be different size, so it may not be the best way to tell them apart. Another feature that may not be so reliable because you can't see it at all times of the year is by looking at the cypsella, the fruit of this plant I mentioned before. Well, you guys would just call them seeds if you saw them, which in Rudbeckia are typically flattened or compressed, while in these ones they are not and are distinctly four-angled. So that's one way to tell the two genera apart from each other. Now to tell this species apart from others within its range that are within Rudbeckia, there's not much you'll get it mixed up with in Utah, but there are a few other species that it can overlap with in the genus in other states. But it's important to note that the fact it doesn't have ray florets is very distinctive about this plant. I think only two other members of Rudbeckia have no ray florets. One is Rudbeckia alpicola, which is found only in Washington. And then there's Rudbeckia montana, I believe, which actually is found in Utah, but only in the extreme southwest of the state and parts of Colorado. That one you can sort of tell apart from this one because it tends to be very glaucous or basically having a sort of light bluish green waxy substance on the leaves, giving it a very distinct appearance from a distance. As you can see, this one just has pretty normal green leaves. Also, a lot of other members of this genus have leaves that are lobed, and that almost is never the case with this species. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.